What's going on, guys? How's everyone doing today? Thank you for coming here, watching this video, subscribing to the channel. It means a whole lot to me. So I wanted to make this video to just kind of go over who I am, what brought me here. A couple of the questions that I'm getting asked a lot, whether it be on DMs, whether it be comments to certain videos, different chats and stuff. So just wanted to kind of get into that first and foremost. Also, don't mind the mess. Got some big news coming on Tuesday. Got a little baby on the way, so stay tuned for that. Super excited about that. Can't wait for that. So little baby girl. So my wife and I are tired but super excited for this little bundle of joy to come. So all right, let's get into it. So first things first, I am a certified addiction recovery coach. I live in Massachusetts. I work in Massachusetts as well, but I am certified. I just got my certification with the ICRC not that long ago. I also supervise recovery coaches in this area as well. That's my main job, is supervising recovery coaches. I am also recovery coach professional and recovery coach professional facilitator through CCAR. So I do trainings. We train and we teach the Recovery Coach Academy, and we also do the ethical considerations as well, which is needed here in Massachusetts to become, a recovery coach. Become certified as part of your requirement. So, me and a couple of other people I work with, we do them. We host classes. I think we actually have one coming up in August, I believe. So if anybody ever wants to get some information on those, I can definitely give you some of that, and we'll get you signed up. It does cost a little bit, but we're able to work things out too. So if people are ever wanting to do that, so but yeah, that's who I am. I'm also in long-term recovery, going on about 5 years, going on 5 years of sobriety come December. So I've been doing this for a little bit. I've been struggling with addiction for many years, basically since I was 16, 17 is when it started. Never thought I was going to be good enough to be able to actually, reach out and help other people. So the fact that I got this job and I'm able to kind of give back to this community, every day, and do this work, it's really a blessing, to be honest with you. And then this brings to the next part too. So in my early recovery, I feel like the one thing that I struggled with the most is having this sense of community, right? Having a sense of there being people behind me, having a community to reach out to, a community that understands what I'm going through, what we're going through, right? So that is one of the things I feel like I now am trying to kind of encapsulate by doing this YouTube thing. The addict and the stinking thing inside of me told me, Chris, you're never gonna be able to do this. So why are we trying? Cut the shit. You know what I mean? It's not worth it. You're not gonna do it. You're not gonna make it. And that still may be true. But I finally kind of got up the courage to say screw it and let's give it a shot. I'm hoping that something I say in my shorts or my long-term videos, will be able to help somebody, even if it's one person, that's fine. It's definitely a little bit about me, and why I do what I do. And, I have kids, you're going to hear about my kids and a lot of the struggles that I had prior to me being in recovery. If you keep watching my content, that is one of the driving factors that really started getting me into treatment, knowing that I had a problem, knowing that I needed help. But I have a family, I have kids. I think it would be so cool to be able to get successful, right? And do this and have people watch what I put out, just getting the comments that, people are understanding, they're getting something from what I, what I put out there. And then, being able to do this to help you guys, right? And then also be there to help my kids, my family, and be there to support my family as well. That's just a plus, right? I really want to, not just have a channel that people subscribe to. I want it to be something that, people can come and just vent and just talk and just feel welcome and not judged, because, unfortunately with addiction, stigma's a thing, right? Stigma sucks. Hear about stigma all the time. Let's put it this way: stigma kept me out and using for a long time. Being afraid of being judged for whatever my pathway to recovery would have been. So I get that too. So. But yeah, let's get into a couple of the questions that a couple people have reached out and asked me to answer. So get into them. So the first one is going to be, so I already did my story, kind of, why I'm here, who I am, why I'm doing this. The turning point, what was my rock bottom, or the exact moment I decided to seek help. So, like I said, the first time that I ever looked at myself and I was like, damn, like, I need help. It's gonna probably bring me back to when I was with my first kid's mother. We had just found out we were pregnant. I was actively using, in and out of the place, in and out of, actively using, trying to get clean, whatever, through that whole pregnancy. But the day and the thing that really hit me was, being at that, have to go to the hospital that day. We were about to have the baby. It's supposed to be exciting. It's supposed to be like the best time of your life. And all I could think about is using. And how am I going to be there without, my drug of choice? How am I going to be there, to enjoy this baby, this beautiful thing coming into the world? And I'm sitting here worried about the dope man, worrying about how can I, get enough money together to do this within the 20-minute period that I have, right? To be able to get back up to the third floor to have the baby, so while I was outside in that car and I'm sitting there sick and just trying to do that, getting my phone was blowing up. Where are you? We're about to go into labor. Like, let me tell you, that really hurt, not being able to fully be there in that minute. And I wish I could say that was the last time I was in a pretty exact situation like that. Unfortunately, that's not the case. But that was probably the first rock bottom I hit. And it really did suck, because it's like, damn, like I can't even be there for my kid. I can't even be there to, enjoy this moment. And that's that I'm supposed to, be super happy about and be present for. So that was probably the first rock bottom that I had. That was a good question. All right, so the next one is, well, I started this channel, kind of went into this, the mission is just to create a channel, to get as many subscribers that, can either relate to the content or, are somewhat involved, with SUD, addiction recovery, wellness, right? Just want to get everybody, I want everyone to have this sense of belonging, right? I want everybody to subscribe because they want to be part of this community. And just like my recovery and stuff, I want to grow with you guys, right? Like, I want to grow with you guys. I don't want to just be talking at you. I want you guys to kind of grow on this journey with me, right? And that's why I want to make this community. I'd be lying if I said that this didn't mean everything to me right now. This helps me also stay sober too. The other things that I do in my life, definitely, that's the why. Next one is going to be the biggest lie addiction told me. I think the biggest lie addiction told me was that I'm not good enough. I will never get sober. I'm going to be part of that, whatever the percentage is, that's never going to get clean. Never going to do it. I told myself I didn't deserve it. Why would I get clean? I can't even be there for my kids. I can't do anything. So why would I deserve to get sober when somebody else that is way better than me, if they can, why should I? I don't deserve it. And I think that kept me out there for a while. Whether it was because I was telling myself that, or if it just gave me a good excuse to keep going out there. Because when you feel like you're nothing and you feel like, you're not worth a damn, it's pretty easy to keep using. It's pretty easy to keep pushing people away. Biggest things that addiction told me that really screwed me up. And it took a long time to start feeling like I was worth a damn again, and that I deserve this, and I deserve to be clean, and I deserve to have a life in recovery, and I deserve to be there for my kids and with my kids, and to be just to be a civilized human being, living the dream. You know what I mean? So that's good questions, actually. So next one, navigating the first 30 days, the physical and mental hurdles of early sobriety. That's a good question too. There's a lot. I'll get into a couple. For me, I think the biggest hurdle for me was the mental. Yes, there was the physical withdrawal part as well, which sucked. If you know, you know. I'm sure if you've been through it, you understand what I'm saying. I don't have to get into it too much, but the mental thing really killed me too. The mental sucked. The thoughts of constantly needing the substance, the constant anxiety, the constant anger, the constant irritability, and trying to navigate that with the family, right? Or with a significant other at the time that you want to have and spend a life with, but you can't put 2 days together, right? And all the stuff that comes with that too. I'm sure I'll get into later in my channel, but just definitely all the physical stuff, the cramps, the vomiting, the diarrhea, the nausea, all that stuff, but also that good mental crap that comes with it. That is excruciating as well. I think the mental is just as bad as the physical sometimes, depending on your substance of choice too. But next one, common fears in early recovery. To be real with you, I feel like one of my biggest fears in early recovery was, what if I can't do this? What if I can't be a dad? What if I'm not a good dad? What if I'm not a good person anymore? Who am I? I don't even know who I am. You know what I mean? I literally don't even know who I am. I've spent so long using that I didn't even know who Chris was anymore, and that was tough, not knowing who you are. You think you know who you are, but when you're using substances for so long, who you end up being is not who you truly are, right? It's kind of like this jimmy rigged version of yourself, that you don't really know, and nobody else really wants to know, but I think that, the fear was that, I'm not going to be good enough. I think that when I was actively using, it was almost easier for me because I had the excuse of why I sucked at everything I did, right? Nobody was looking at me to be there and be that person or be that rock for the family or the significant other or the kids. I was just, he's off doing whatever he's doing, he's using, he doesn't give a shit, he doesn't, whatever. And it was easier almost at times to be that person. I'd be lying if I said it didn't take a lot of work to become the person that I wanted to be, the person that I love today, right? And building a support system will be the last one that I do today. So building a support system is huge. So obviously as a certified recovery coach, and somebody that facilitates the CCAR material, the biggest thing I can say is that resources are huge, whatever that may be, right? So me personally, I believe in multiple pathways to recovery. There's a lot of people that will say, nope, just meetings, or nope, just counseling, just therapy, I'll drink a beer every weekend, or I will, whatever it is, right? There's certain people that do believe in just 12 steps or just meetings or whatever it may be, and that's fine. I do not judge anybody, but me personally, especially doing the work that I do, and I know a lot of people too that are in this field as well, and a lot of us feel the same way. We'll meet people where they're at. We'll meet them wherever they're at, whether that means they do want to drink 1 beer a week instead of drinking a 30 rack, or whether it's, maybe AA and NA doesn't work for you, but you want to try the steps, or if you want to do smart recovery, if you want to do, IOP, if you want, whatever, if you want to do just therapy. For me, I'm not the type of guy that's going to, tell you how you should do your recovery. And I feel like also in early recovery for me, the thing that kept me out there a lot too was that I kept hearing, what recovery meant to everybody else, right? And I felt like I was trying to make my recovery be their recovery. And that's not the case, right? So, everyone's recovery is different. Everyone's story is different. Everyone goes through different trials and tribulations. So who am I to judge what someone's recovery or, what someone's, journey looks like? But, that's definitely the, resources and stuff. Resources, it's always been super important. We'll always help people get, to meetings if that's what they want to do. We'll help them find a primary care if they want to get their health and their body back together. If they want therapy, we'll find that. But I think definitely reaching out and getting resources, getting the support that you need in early recovery is huge, and being honest with yourself and being honest with somebody, right? Always helps, just discussing the problem, talking about the problem. It helps, trust me. Probably gonna leave off the video with this, right? But I appreciate everybody, checking into my first video. There's gonna be plenty more to come. Hopefully you can, just add a like, subscribe, share a comment. I'm gonna be watching all these comments, right, too. So if you post something in the comments, I'll see it. If there's something that you want to talk about, if there's something that you want to know more about, let me know. So like I said, baby's due in 2 days on Tuesday. Today's Sunday, so baby's due in 2 days. So it might slow down a bit until then, but I'll be posting after, and there's probably gonna be a little baby action on Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever my wife actually gives birth, and I'll do a little reveal. You know what I mean? We're super excited for that, and so isn't our son Danny, and my other son Carter is really excited about that as well too. So, but yeah, man, I appreciate everybody for watching. I appreciate everybody for taking the time listening to little old me. Drop a comment if you want to hear something specific, something that you're struggling with. You're not alone. You're not alone. I want you to know that first and foremost. And if no one's told you they love you today, I love you. And until the next one.